Hey guys, it's Will here, and tonight I'm getting to unbox one of the most, from my point of view anyway, exciting new kits from GW in years, quite frankly, the Howling Banshees. Now, why is this so exciting? Well, I've been a big fan of Eldar since the late 90s, and I've always thought Aspect Warriors are really cool, and if you've seen some of my games with them, you know that I run Biltan, and so Aspect Warriors are kind of the central theme of the army. And for years, the only plastic aspect were Dire Avengers. You could get the Crimson Hunter later on as well, but that's a vehicle, so that's a bit different. We've kind of had to stick to metal and resin for all our other aspects. And finally, GW are doing other Aspect Warriors as plastic, and at this point I already have every Aspect Warrior model GW produce, apart from a couple of the Phoenix Lords and the Forge World ones, so I kind of just had to get these for sheer excitement. But also, they're really cool models. Now, I know they've been out a couple of months in the Phoenix Rising set, but obviously wasn't going to spend £140 just to get 5 models that I was excited to get, so that was just way too expensive a box, and I didn't need most of the stuff in it. But now these guys have come out as a box of their own, I just kind of had to get them. So let's open it up and see what's inside. So you get this pretty standard GW thing. You've got a very detailed instruction manual showing you how to put them all together. Bases, you've got the 5 bases for the 5 Banshees, and then this little one which is for a statue of the Crone Goddess Heg that you get on here. Just a little extra component, doesn't have any effect in game, but it's quite cool. Move those to one side, it's pretty standard. No transfers or anything in there. And you've got the 3 sprues. Now, they are quite small, but they are really detailed and absolutely packed with stuff. So I think we'll start with kind of how the girls basically look, how the Banshees go together. So see here, you've got I think the torso here is one component with a separate back piece to the torso, and then each leg is separate. So you've got a left leg and a right leg, or a right leg and a left leg, and you can see that all the legs are positioned with just one foot on the ground, on some kind of Eldar statuary, or I think they all have some kind of like ruin, like elven ruins type thing on the base, so they've already got a bit of a scenic base element to them, which is really cool, and they've got some lovely dynamic poses you can make with this. You get the full suite of weapon options, so obviously enough of the shuriken pistols and these rather cool sort of back-swept power swords to build everybody as a basic Banshee, but you also get all of the Exarch weapon options. So you've got this long old one here, which is the Executioner. If I just put my phone next to that, you can see that it's a really long component. Lovely sword. Well, Executioner's not really a sword, but it's got like extra details, like this little bit of hair on there. What else have we got weapons wise? We've got the Triskel, first time that's ever been cast in plastic. Up until this point, the only way to get a Triskel was either to custom make one or use Jane Czar's one, which is obviously like a £15 resin kit, so that's nice. And then you've also got the mirror swords, which I think is actually, this power sword is meant to be a mirror sword. You can build the Exarch with one in each hand, and they are slightly different around the base, and they've got the tassels on the arms. So you've got all the Exarch weapon options. Now, the heads of the models are pretty cool as well. Having had a look through the instruction manual, essentially every head has a front component, which can either be your standard mask, one of the Exarch masks, of which there are, I think, 3 on the kit, or these open face plates. Now, these open face plates are actually basically unhelmeted heads with just the respirator and the like the scream generator, I guess, the noisemaker part of the Banshee helmet. They are meant to represent the Ynnari. So the Ynnari Banshees, fluff-wise, fight without helmets on, because they like the whole helmet and what they call the war mask for the Eldar is part of their devotion to Cain, but obviously these girls, if they're in Ynnari, are at least partially devoted to Inead as well as Cain, so have a slightly different lore to them. And you've got an Exarch version as well for that, which is just there, that sort of screaming mouth, which is shown better on the back of the box there. And yeah, it says here Ynnari Howling Banshees, so they're the ones that go helmetless. And the hair, obviously if you can see from the box, these models have big hair, so each hairpiece, from what I can see, you've got like a central component there, and then two sides, and then either the mask or the face goes on the front of that. So yeah, very multi-part kit here. It'd be interesting when I build it to see quite how flexible it is. I think certainly looks like the legs and the bodies have to go with certain ones, but maybe we can swap the heads around, swap the arms around, we'll see how it goes. You also get this little statue of Moreheg here, the Crone Goddess. Now that literally has no effect in game, but might be nice for a scenery piece or a marker, or I might even use that in a conversion project elsewhere. I'll have to see on that. And as I said with the Exarch, you've got 3 different helmet fronts. So here we've got this one that's fairly plain with just the Banshee rune there, and these like almost like pigtails. I'm sure they don't quite look so much like a 12-year-old girl if they're actually mounted on the model, but they look sort of very sort of little girlish almost with those. But then you've got 2 more classic helmet designs. This one more of a crown, this one more of a crest, again, as well as the plain face one. So you can make your Exarchs look unique if you're running lots of squads of these. Each Exarch can not only be armed differently if you want, but also helmeted differently. So yeah, I say very small components and a lot of bits here. I think it's going to take me a while to get these built up, but I'm going to get them built up and show you what they look like and sort of tell you what they're like to put together. Okay, so I've got the Howling Banshees built up, and as you can see, they are really nice models. If I just bring one of them up to the camera, you can see you've got lots of lovely detail on here, if the camera will focus. There we go. Really nice models, went together really well. They've got very striking poses, as you can see here. Really dynamic looking models. Each one of them is positioned very differently, so they're going to look really nice on the tabletop, but that flexibility is not great. The sort of the nice poses come at the cost of a degree of flexibility. So not only does each body have a particular pair of legs that go with it, but also the heads are actually unique to each body. So that's a bad example because that's the Exarch, but like this one here, this shoulder pad here, oh, my camera won't focus, try zoom. There we go, yep. So the shoulder pad there, that is part of the head assembly, but it fits only with certain bodies, so you have to make sure you use the right head on the right body. Instructions make it very clear. It just means that for those of us who remember the good old days where kits were really flexible, you can't sort of go swapping the components around. The arms and pistols, apart from the Exarch ones, do all have flat fittings, so you could swap the arms around, but there is a risk with that you end up with some really weird poses. I mean, there probably are some really good poses you could find if you play around with it, but you can't just go sticking any pair of arms to any body and hope that it's going to work. You really need to think before you stick with that. But that is a nice little bit of flexibility and means that you could customize these into something else, have a little bit of flexibility with them, but it's not great. But they do, they do produce some really nice models. Price is a little higher than I was expecting. They are $32.50 in the UK, and a lot more elsewhere in the world by all accounts. And that doesn't sound a huge amount if you're not used to UK pounds, but we pay lower prices for GW over here, and that is the same as a box of 5 Wraithguard. And while these are lovely models, they are nowhere near as big as Wraithguard, nor as many points as Wraithguard, nor, quite frankly, as good in the game as Wraithguard. It's a little bit disappointing for that. If you've got $32.50 spare, or £29 because you get the 10% discount, You know, would you buy these? Would you buy a box of Wraith Blades? If you wanted like to do a hard-hitting melee unit, you'd go for the Wraith Blades. My main excitement with them is, you know, for having the first unit of elite plastic aspect warriors, and I'm really looking forward to painting these and getting them on the battlefield. May even do one of them as a painting tutorial, but they're going to take some skill to get the most out of in the game. But as models, they are lovely. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll have something else out for you soon. But more importantly, hopefully GW will decide to do all the other aspects in plastic too. I can't wait for plastic fire dragons, plastic dark reapers, plastic striking scorpions. Some really good kits GW could do there. So please, Games Workshop, give me my plastic aspect warriors. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.